Ladies and gents, we're back. The podcast. Customer service, it's about today. How bad is it getting? I'm going to tell you a couple of my stories here, and hopefully I can be some use to some of you guys out there that if you're not sure how much to tip, I mean, I have to admit, before I used to live in LA, I was in my mid-20s, and I didn't know about tipping really. I really didn't. You know, I really didn't. I didn't have in fact, yeah, why am I tiptoeing around this? I didn't have a fucking clue about tipping really. You know? And I was like Steve Buscemi in Reservoir Dogs. If you've seen that movie, they talk about tipping at the start of the movie, and Steve Buscemi's like one of these tight-ass pricks. Now, I'm not saying I was a tight-ass. I just didn't have a clue. And then I went to America, and it completely changed. It was like, whoa, man. And it does take time to adjust, in fairness. It really does. Nicola, good morning. Good morning, Nicola. We're just doing a TikTok live here as well, guys. And we're talking about the customer service. And before we get into it, Manda's now saying about they make false accusations if they can get it for free. Okay, well, that's an interesting one now. Let me know, guys, before we get into this for the podcast, is customer service getting worse these days? Is it the same since coronavirus? Or should we say after coronavirus? Is it worse, same, better? What do you think? So for instance, here's a big one now, right? This didn't even involve me, but I've worked in the customer service business before, so I know what this is like. I went in for Chinese there. It was actually Paddy's weekend, just Paddy's weekend gone. Only, a month ago, whatever it was. And went in to get a Chinese. I went home early one night, so in the bar across the road, I went, fuck it, I'll get a Chinese now. Went straight upstairs, didn't order, just ordered at the reception, sat down, waited for the 15 minutes. So as I'm there anyway, I walk in a midstream argument here with this one lady giving out shit to the girl behind the reception. Like, killing her. Right? Killing her. And all of a sudden you could see this poor girl, she's behind the reception. She's only taking reception, like answering the fucking phone here, right? Or meeting and greeting, saying, oh, hello, yes, we have some availability, come on in. And like, that's about it, right? She's not even actually bringing food to the table here. She's not one of the waitresses. I've been in this restaurant enough to know. So she's nothing to do with this. So the girl behind the reception is saying, well, look, I'm very sorry. I didn't bring the food to your table. And I know where she's going with this. Is I'm like, you know, between the lines, why are you giving out to me here? Why don't you just ask for the manager? Or, you know, why are you killing me? So she's like, well, look, I didn't give you the food, but the manager's in behind. And then the woman is in front of everyone in the restaurant, okay? And I mean, there's tables of people surrounding the entire restaurant. The music isn't very high. It's low enough, as you know, in a Chinese restaurant. And she's making a public announcement here. And then she puts up her finger. She puts up her finger, points at the girl, and starts waving her finger. And she goes, excuse me now, miss. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Don't you be telling me what to do. And, oh, you're trying to pass the blame on to the manager? And I actually jumped in. And I got off my seat. I went, excuse me, fuck this. I said, who the hell do you think you are? And she went, excuse me? I went, no, excuse you, miss. And I was just right in her. And, by the way, sorry, not physically, okay? In case you're wondering what the hell's he on about. And then all of a sudden, as I'm doing this, I'm standing up. And this is a hand-to-God true story. And I'm standing up at the reception. Or the counter where that girl is behind the counter. And as the moment I'm getting in that girl's face, the girl behind the counter walks over to me and just absolutely bawls down crying, melts down, and she literally leans her head and her arms on the counter and right up close to me. I'm like, what the fuck? And so like, it's a deep enough counter. It's probably, maybe 3 foot in width. Okay, so she couldn't give me a hug or anything, all right? There's a table between us, but she had to just come almost running over to me and like, oh, thank God someone's here for my rescue. And I kept going anyway. I said, who the hell do you think you are, lady? And I said, by the way, I don't work here. I'm not a delivery guy. I don't work here. I've nothing to do with this restaurant. So don't go online and start bitching and moaning about this place. This is a customer versus a customer here, okay? You should have seen her fucking face. There wasn't one word that came out of this woman's mouth after this. I mean, seriously, guys, I don't care how bad your like, if the waitresses and waitresses were throwing, like, literally physically throwing the food on the table from 2 or 3 foot away and hitting you, well, okay, lose your shit. Yeah. But this poor girl was a deer in a headlights here. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And this woman, like, where are people getting the balls, are the delusional mentality to think that if I make a public announcement here and start wagging my finger around, that people are going to be impressed? Is this what she's thinking? Everybody's going to be impressed with me? Everybody's going to be looking at me? Or is this her TikTok moment? I mean, I certainly didn't see any videos out. In fact, if anything, it would have been awesome to take a video of this woman. I mean, Jesus, it would have went viral how much of a bitch this woman was. But seriously, who are you trying to impress? Do you think this is going to impress people? Or do you have some loser husband sitting at home who just does everything for you and just nods and agrees with everything you say? Yeah, you're right, honey. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And she's such a bitch that she wags her finger. I mean, this isn't the first person that she's wagged her finger at, you know what I mean? There's no way. She's done this before many times. You can be sure of that. But I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. And just jumping in here, Nicholas says, I haven't noticed any change in Ireland. We're just looking at the TikTok comments here, guys. Yeah, she hasn't noticed any change in Ireland. I have to admit. I think the customer service, it's not that it's got worse in terms of people are less friendly. It's just got slow and lazy. Now, even though when I say less friendly, I've experienced this before coronavirus. So this is my second fucking story here. So I love that there's a Japanese restaurant that I go. I won't mention their name. And you know why? Because I fucking love the restaurant. And it's just that one girl in there. She doesn't throw me off going to the restaurant because they go through staff like every fucking 5 minutes they've got a new staff member. So this girl will be gone anyway before you know it. And I've been going there for years. So I go into this restaurant and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to get my normal regular food. So I get my food, grand, everything is all. And now this girl's new here when I'm here, okay? I'm like, oh, here we go again. Now, I'm living in LA. I'm used to tipping, well, it's not that I'm used to tipping well. I'm used to the tip world. So I know, well, you know what? I'm going to help this girl out and I'll give her, well, a good enough tip. So at the end, I'm in a bit of a rush. I finish my food. I go up to the counter. So she doesn't have time now to come down to my table. But that doesn't matter because I decided to get up off my fucking seat, go up to the counter, just get this over and done with because I got to leave instantly. I'm in a bit of a rush. So I go straight up and she's like, oh, right. Oh, okay. So was everything okay? I was like, yeah, everything's fine. She gives me the bill. So I know from the customer service industry, I said, well, look, I don't have any cash on me. If I give you a $5 tip, will you get that tip? So wasn't it a $5 tip? Yeah, I think it was. So I think mine came out to like 25 quid. I gave her a $5 tip, which is what, 20%? Isn't it? 20%, yeah. So I think that's a pretty generous tip, right? Just for one person. So I said, well, look, will you get that tip? Yes? And she goes, oh, yeah. I said, you will now. I just want to make sure you get the tip. She goes, yeah. Because she's also serving me the food as well here. She's in and out of the kitchen, this and that. So I'm thinking, all right, well, okay, cool. So as she's putting in the card, she's processing it, and there's just this little silence. And she didn't even thank me. She just looks down. PIN number, please. I put in the PIN. I'm still waiting. And then I get the card and she goes, okay, there you go. She doesn't even say goodbye to me. And I'm like, you fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. Now, like I said, guys, I don't expect somebody to be, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You are amazing. Not one bit. But I'm trying to make sure that this girl gets the fucking tip. She doesn't get fucked over from the manager, because I know that from America even. In fact, I've heard some stories about Ireland, actually. Ireland do this as well, where the person will tap the card with tip included, and then the poor waiter or waitress doesn't get the fucking tip. The manager keeps it for himself. Now, how much of that happens? God only knows. Because I don't think it would happen that much, because word would get out, right? And I'm assuming the best here of people. And that's a good thing to do, you know what I mean? So I'm assuming the best. But anyway, apparently this happens. Want to make sure she gets it. So I leave. I'm like, that fucking... Could she at least just... Oh, thank you. 2 words, that's all I wanted to hear. 2 fucking words. That's it. But no. I went, alright, well, she ain't getting fucking tipped again the next time. So next time I go up, about a week later, guess who's there? Same girl. Guess what happens? She's doing the same thing. She's in and out of the kitchen. She's up answering the phone at reception. In fairness, the girl's working hard, right? She's getting screwed over by the manager or boss. She's, you know, she's run off her feet. But that still doesn't stop you from being polite here. You know what I mean? So anyway, I didn't tip her. I go up again to the counter. I didn't give her a tip this time. And she looks at me like I just told her go F herself for no reason. And she's like, huh? And I went, that's it? And it was actually a bit of an awkward silence. I went, is she fucking staring me down? And she's shocked that I'm not giving her a tip? Now, to be honest, even I'm looking back in this. And I just walked out of the restaurant, gone, good luck. And she didn't say goodbye to me that time. I didn't say goodbye to her that time. And you know what? The manager's never there. The owner's never there. I've asked for them before because they've always had these problems with cash. Oh, the ATM machine's not working, or the card machine's not working. Really? Or do you just need some fucking cash, asshole? You know? That's what a lot of these fuckers are doing, man, these days. They're just using the cash and just holding on to it. And, oh, I'm sorry, the machine's broken. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, honey. And this place always happens. And let's have a look at some of the TikToks here. So Nicholas says here, where I work, the manager and owner do nothing with customers and they get a bit of the tips we get. Oh, motherfuckers. You see? Here we go, man. Here we fucking go. Assholes, man. You see... Jesus Christ. Okay, now, actually, do you know what? This kind of rolls into my next point here. I have a couple of more points that I'm going to get through, but that's my story pretty much kind of done right there about my previous experience with tipping. But who are these dickheads? The manager, like the owner! Now, I'm not having a go off waiters and waitresses here, okay? I'm not, because here I'm going to jump in and say it goes both ends, because there can be asshole customers. There can be asshole waiters and waitresses. You know what I mean? So it can go both ways here. But let's look at it on the other flip side. Nicola here, Jesus Christ. She works, the manager and the owner do nothing with customers and they get a bit of the tips we get. In the jar, at the counter. Jesus. And worst part is, we used to have a 20% discount. They took that away from me. Oh, those motherfuckers. Oh, but yet... I bet they've upped their price though, right? Jesus. Now Lucas jumps in. So much for the land of 1,000 welcomes, Peter. Yeah, listen, look, I have to admit, this is my home country, Ireland. I am an Irish man. I love my country. But there's a very weird illusion about Ireland too. People say that people are so friendly. I have to admit, and by the way, if I'm putting Irish people down, I'm putting myself down here, okay? So don't have a go of me because, hey, you know what? Fuck anybody that's going to go at me here because I am Irish too, so I can say what I want here. We're not that friendly. Us Irish, we're not that friendly, you know? Like, I used to work, we're going off the beaten track here a little bit. Now, I wouldn't say we're assholes, absolutely not. But comparing to what people say about, oh, the Irish are so friendly, it's amazing. No, I'm sorry, we're not. Actually, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll go further into that in a minute. But like, back to the Nicola here and the owner taking money off the girls who work in a restaurant or bar. Jesus Christ, man. The owner? This is his baby, his toy that he invented. I'm sure the guy had put in blood, sweat, tears into this company to get it off the ground. Surely the guy appreciates every single customer that comes through that place. Like, he's loving it, you know? What if he has a bad day and the manager doesn't necessarily get all worked up, or, you know, the waitresses or waiter, you don't necessarily get all worked up because you're quiet on a day, right? Yeah, you might go, oh, you know, it's quiet now, I won't get many tips today. But at the same time, the biggest headache is coming from the owner because, oh man, I don't want to be bankrupt in a couple of weeks. If this keeps going, oh God, what am I going to do here, man? You know what I mean? They've more to lose here. So they'd appreciate it more then when they actually get the business. And this motherfucker, like, I've seen other managers here, even in LA. I used to work in a restaurant. I used to be the host in there. And, you know, meeting, greetings, sitting people down. And I remember this one manager in there, man, he was stealing tips from all the waiters and waitresses. Like, there's managers out there, yeah, they don't give a shit. They're just there to skim off the top. Now, of course, not everybody. You know, not everybody. Manda's jumping in here on TikTok. They don't get the tips when it's by the card. Nicola, yeah, that's what I asked there, Manda. That even I was in this Japanese, I asked the girl, I said, you get the tip, right? If I tap with my card, will you get this €5 tip? And she went, yes. I went, are you sure? As in, I tap with card. With card, you get €5? Like, I'm even pointing to the machine and just making sure. And she goes, oh, yeah. So I don't know. But at least that the manager is actually doing that, because that is not on, man. That is not on. And you know what? That's a surefire way that you'll have not every staff member, but there'd be some staff members that are so angry and so bitter and pissed off with the owner or manager stealing from these people that they're going to steal on their own time. They're going to fuck the owner and manager over so quick. Like, you are on a path to nowhere doing this. Number one, for karma. Number two, for you're stealing off waiter and waitresses. Yeah, well, guess what, asshole? You really think they're not going to steal from you when your back is turned, you fucking dumbass? Yeah. But no, some people, they just see money in front of them, boy, and they just lose their minds. They can't fucking control themselves. It's incredible the way this goes on. Incredible. Lucas, just on TikTok, she didn't like it when you treated her the same way back. 1 second. I'm not sure what you mean, Lucas. Amanda, and they get taxed on the tips. They get taxed. Nicola, if you're still listening, can you verify this, please? Not that I don't believe you, Amanda, but obviously Nicola here, she's working in the industry. Jesus Christ. Nicola, can you let us know here? Are you getting taxed on fucking tips? And if so, how much? What? I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm laughing because that is... If this is true... That is insanity. Now, Nicola, while we wait for that response here, guys, Nicola's saying absolutely the prices went up so much. So that's her response about, oh, well, the manager and owners are taking money off the waiter and waitresses. But funnily enough, the prices have escalated, though, in the restaurant, like everywhere else in the country. And, well, anywhere else in the world. Jesus. And hang on a second now. Let's see. Is Nicola, has she come back to us here yet? Not yet. We're waiting for that, guys. Amanda, it's illegal for manager to take tips. All right, well, hey, you know what? Maybe we can be useful here, because if there's anybody, including Nicola here, working with this shit, maybe you can do something about this. There has to be a law about that. Right? There has to be a law. I didn't even think about that, and thank you, Amanda, for bringing that up. Slattery, where are you from? I'm from Cork City. We're live on TikTok and a podcast recording from Cork City. Let's have a look there more. There's some good comments coming in here, guys. Let's keep this going. Riri, hi there. Long time no see. Hey, Riri. Wasn't getting notified. What's today's topic? We're talking about customer service and how bad and people stealing tips from waiters and waitresses. Nicola here we go. I'm not sure. Our card machine doesn't have a tip option. We do cash tips only. Nicola, I think that may be worth looking into because even that Japanese restaurant I go to, right? I think I was just saying a second ago, that girl, I had to ask her twice and I was pointing at the machine just to make sure she understood what I was saying. She told me that she got that tip. Now, I remember even looking at the screen, by the way, and I didn't see anything on the screen, and maybe I'm right or wrong on this, but I didn't see anything on the screen that says tip €5 plus dinner €25, whatever it was. I didn't see any additional column to show that there's a tip included. You know what I mean? It was all just one price. And actually, she came out with the bill. It was €25. And I said, well, look, just 30 is fine. It's no problem. And that was to start it off. And then she actually went back to, as in delete 25. Then she just put in 30. Now that I remember this, yes, that's exactly how it worked. So she didn't have a tip option, if that is any good to you, Nicola. If that is any good to you. Manda here says on TikTok, so was I. With the new card system, they have to declare the tips and get taxed. How much is, do I dare ask? How much is this tax? How much is this tax? Jesus fuck, man. I'm telling you, man, that the world's going to shit. Amanda worked in hospitality for 20 years. Slattery says she can't place my accent. Well, yeah, a lot of people can't. You're not the only one. Let's have a look at anybody else. Nicola, in that situation, we would go to the cash register and take €5 out and put it in the jar. Also, Nicola, are you sharing tips with... Oh, you are, of course, because the manager and owner take it. You see, I don't believe in that system where everybody shares the tips. There's a pro and con to both. But the problem is you're rewarding someone who's a lazy fucker too. You know? What if you do get poor old Nicola here getting screwed over by the manager or the owner? But what if you get Nicola here working her ass off and then you've got, I don't know, Jacqueline here in the corner, right? And she doesn't give a fuck. She's polishing her nails, checking it out, checking the fucking TikToks, checking out her boyfriend messages, and she's doing nothing all night. And then she comes out with the same amount of tips. I don't agree with this. Now, so I actually think it should be one table, Nicola's table, she gets that for the night, done. Because I remember working in LA, and at the start, the host, it was all down to me. I would meet and greet people, grab the menus. Okay, guys, so 4 of you, yeah, let's go, follow me. And then I would strategically place them in different sections of the restaurant. And guys, you probably know what I'm talking about here. So then obviously each waiter then gets, you know what I mean? So like you can't have 5 tables full over here in Nicola's corner, but poor old Peter on the other corner, the host hasn't put anybody over his. So you're trying to make sure that everybody gets even odds at tips. So spread it all out. Everybody gets a better crack at the whip. And that's the way, where was I going with this? Oh, Jesus, I've just gone brain fart. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully I'll remember that. Amanda, no idea. Only came in since COVID. Pay tips in cash. Yeah, see, maybe I should carry around more cash with me, man. Maybe I should. Not if that girl isn't that Japanese, that's for sure. She ain't getting a tip off me again. No way. Unless she actually starts to fucking be nice. You see, for me, right? I love the way America worked. And agree with me or not here, guys, okay? But wouldn't you prefer someone who's actually faking being nice and being professional, okay? Now, they're not like, oh, hi, how are you? And being very sarcastic. No, I'm not saying that. But they're actually just faking being nice, okay? And they're good at it. But at least they're being polite. They're not causing you drama or shit. They're getting what you want. They're being professional, but they're fake. Wouldn't you prefer that any day of the week than some asshole who's giving you a bit of lip, bit of grief? Do you know what I mean? I would prefer it any day of the week. And you could say, yeah, but they're being fake. Yeah, well, do you want somebody fucking throwing your food at you at the restaurant? Jesus. Zanuck, you have 10 people here. Yeah, I know, it's up and down here, Zanuck, however. But we're also recording a live podcast. Riri, I did waitressing for years in a trucker's restaurant. Loved it. Assigned tables, kept tips. Yeah, truckers, I think they're good, aren't they? I think they're good. Nickel on TikTok, I'm always as polite as I can, even if it's fake. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you have to put on a fucking brave face or a, you know? And here's the thing too, like this is where I would actually say too. It's a fucked up system, man. It's a fucked up system. What about the people that work in McDonald's? Like a lot of restaurants, and Nicola or anybody that's worked in the restaurant, right? Or waiter or waitress. I'm not having a go, okay? I'm having a go at the system here. Seriously, poor old guy or girl works in McDonald's and they could be on the graveyard shift, right? They're working until 4 in the morning or 8 in the morning and they're not getting tipped. But, you know, like, it's so fucked up, man. I think they should be getting tipped too, even though where's my bleeding heart for them? Yeah, I'm full of shit here too, because I don't go tipping McDonald's staff. So, yeah, where's my bleeding heart for them, you know? I don't want to sound like a fucking hypocrite here. But I mean, it's so fucked, man. It's so fucked. I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. And customer service, in general, it's turned into the shit, man. Now, I think Amanda was saying at the start there that there's a lot of customers who are just nasty at the moment, looking for freebies, things like that. Well, look, sure, haven't we all known that it's been like that for a lot of years? But still, there's a lot of people, yeah, faking it at the moment. They're doing anything they can to keep the money in the pocket. And Riri on here, 1 second now. Let's have a work. Amanda on TikTok. I used to work in very high-end bars years ago. The more ignorant I was, the more tips I got. Jeez, are you being serious, Amanda? Well, then that's just a bunch of fucking assholes then if they're tipping you for that. Sorry, like, but I have to say, I mean, why would you tip somebody who is ignorant? Seriously, why would you? That's not nice. I wouldn't. No way. Riri on TikTok. The boss was the problem, not the customer. Did I miss something there on TikTok? Well, I suppose at the end of the day, it's always about the boss at the end of the day. If you've got a bad customer and something happens, well, hey man, maybe the boss didn't fucking do it right. If you got a bad waiter, waitress, manager, still down to the boss, you employed them. That's what I'd be saying. Manda on TikTok, nearly 500 a night in tips. Jesus Christ, that's America standard, that is. Fucking hell. Jamie, well, first time seeing your vids in ages. Hope all is well. Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Cheers. The Karen restaurant staff must be making a fortune. Well, I don't know any guy out there that if you come across a bitch, and I'm not saying, Manda, you are, but I'm saying if you come across somebody who's a bitch or a prick of a guy, they're not getting tipped, man. They're not getting tipped. No way. No way. Anyway, to finish off the podcast, I'm going to stay on TikTok, guys, but to finish off the actual podcast, if there's anybody wondering, how do you tip? How much should you tip? Okay, well, before I went to LA, I didn't have a fucking clue. I went to LA, I started to learn. So, in a bar, they're saying, now, this doesn't have to really apply here, but maybe on holiday. In a bar in America, they would say $1 a beer or per drink is what you should be aiming at. Now, believe me, you hear that for the first time if you're buying a round of fucking 7 drinks, and you're like, Jesus Christ, $7? And then I'll be doing another fucking round? I'll probably doing about 7 rounds tonight? Holy fuck, man. It's a shock to the system. But that's what they say. Now, you could tip more, and in America, they do it the proper way. You tip more they'll give you better customer service. They will take you from an eight deep crowd from the back, and they'll bring you right up to the bar and say, oh yeah, what would you like, Peter? You'll skip the queue in great fashion if you tip them well. Very simple procedure. You do this, you get that. If you don't get that. Black, white. There's no bullshit with it. It's the way I think it should work. But they say $1 tip. And ladies, maybe you jump in here. In America, in a restaurant, I mean, I tipped 20% there now in that Japanese. I was on my own. They say, what is it, 15%? 10%? You know? Depending on the service. I mean, for me, I tipped that girl 20%, even though she didn't give me great customer service. You know, she wasn't like, wow, man, waitress of the year. Fuck me. Unbelievable. But if she was, you would have tipped her more. So I think 15, 20% here is enough. It's more than enough, right? Has to be. Has to be. Anyway, so guys, that's my customer service from hell. Jesus, couple of stories there. So we'll close it off, guys, on the podcast. I will be staying on TikTok here, guys, but I'm just going to close off the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll be back again. Bye bye.
Peter Walsh.